Hi, good morning, one and all. Today we can discuss about very important chapter, that is excreted products and their elimination. See, what is meant by excretion? Excretion means the process of elimination of nitrogenous and other waste materials from the body is known as a excretion. Now, how this excreted products is formed? The excreted products is formed due to metabolism of carbohydrates, fats, proteins and nucleic acid. Mostly we can eat carbohydrates, fats, proteins and nucleic acids only. When these four products is metabolized, the excreted products is formed. Now, when the carbohydrates and fats is metabolized, the final excreted products is the carbon dioxide and water. This carbon dioxide and water, by the process of diffusion, it is easily eliminated from the body. There is no problem for this one. And proteins and nucleic acids, in their structure, for proteins and nucleic acid, they having a nitrogenous compounds. For carbohydrates and fats, there is no nitrogenous compounds, but proteins and nucleic acids, they having a nitrogenous compounds. For suppose if you go for the nucleic acids, they having a purines and pyrimidines. For proteins, they having a nitrogenous compounds. When these two compounds is metabolized, the final excretory products is ammonia, urea, uric acid. Based upon elimination of or removing of this nitrogenous waste materials, that is the ammonia, urea, uric acid, based upon their elimination, we can classify the organisms into ammonotelisms, ureotelisms, uricotelisms. When the organisms eliminate the excretory materials is the ammonia, that are called as ammonotelism. When the excretory materials is urea, that is called as a ureotelisms. When the excretory materials is the uric acid, that is indicates the uricotelisms. How this ammonia is formed? See, ammonia is formed by oxidative deamination. What is meant by oxidative deamination? Removing of amine compound from amino acids. When you have to removing the amine compound from these amino acids, this amine compound is combining with hydrogen, they can form a ammonia. Now this ammonia is eliminated from the body. This process takes place, that is the deamination process takes place in where? Liver. In liver of vertebrates, deamination process takes place. Among these three, that is ammonia, urea, uric acid, highly toxic nature is the ammonia. That's why for removing of ammonia, we need more amount of water, and also ammonia is readily soluble in water. When it is readily soluble in water, now this ammonia is eliminated from the body by the process of diffusion. If you need more amount of water, means compulsory this type of nature can be seen in the aquatic organisms. That's why mostly common seen in the aquatic species, that too mainly in the bony fishes. You already studied in the first year cartilaginous fishes and bony fishes. In bony fishes and aquatic amphibians, that is the larva stage, in this kind of organisms, the excretory material is the ammonia. And also here the ammonia is mostly eliminated by the process of diffusion. For elimination of ammonia, not that much useful to the kidney. Next one, ureotilism, the excretory material is the urea. Compared to ammonia, urea is somewhat very less toxic nature. It is for elimination of ammonia we need more amount of water. For this elimination of urea, a small amount of water is needed. And how this urea is formed? Urea is formed by a ornithine cycle. This ornithine cycle takes place in the liver. Here, when this carbon dioxide and ammonia is combined and the formation of a urea, that urea is formed in the liver only. From this liver, it will be transferred into the kidney. From there, it is eliminated from the body. And some amount of urea is preserved in the body for maintaining of isotonical balance. Where this ureotilisms, where means in which organisms this urea is the excretory materials, that is the terrestrial amphibians which is present on land, and the cartilaginous fishes, here it is the bony fishes and it is the cartilaginous fishes, and mammals. For us, the excretory material is what? Urea. And another one, uricotilisms, the excretory material is the uric acid. It is the least toxic nature. That's why highly toxic nature is the ammonia, less toxic nature is the urea, and the least toxic is the uric acid. For this one, eliminate more amount of water. It is small amount of water. It is very least amount of water. That is, this uric acid is insoluble in water. The excretory material of uric acid is eliminated in the form of pellets. Better you have to see lizard. The excretory products is the small pellets format you can observe. It means this type of organisms, it can conserve, it can preserve more amount of water and remove the waste material. In that waste material, very less amount of water is present. Where we can see this type of uric acid is the excretory products, means the mostly the insects, reptiles, birds, and sauropsids. Sauropsids is under the reptiles only. That's why in these organisms, the excretory materials is the uric acid. That's why totally what we have to remove from the body, we can remove the carbon dioxide and ammonia from the body. Now, for this elimination, what are the excretory organs is present? See, if you go for porifera, if you go for cnidaria, and if you go for ctenophora, there is no specialized excretory organs. If for porifera, through osculum, it is an excretory pore, and cnidarians and ctenophores through mouth, the excretory material is removed by the process of diffusion. And the excretory organs, suppose if you see the protonephridia are also called as a very important one, flame cells, you already studied. This protonephridia mainly useful for the primarily for osmoregulation. Primarily for osmoregulation means removing of excess of fluids, excess of waste materials from the body by the process of diffusion. That's why protonephridia is primarily for the osmoregulation. This protonephridia mainly seen in the platyhelminthes and also can be seen in the rotifers, and also very familiar in chordata, urochordata, cephalochordata, vertebrata. In cephalochordata, they having a specialized cells that is called as a solenocytes. This solenocytes is also called as a protonephridians ones. That's why primarily for what purpose this one? Osmoregulation. The next one, metanephridia. Metanephridia is what? Removing of nitrogenous waste materials, and also it is useful for the ionic balance. This metanephridia can be seen in the annelidas and Malpighian tubules. Empty means Malpighian tubules. Beside excretion, that is the removing of waste materials, They also role in conserving, storing of water and salts effectively. See the differentiation here, simply maintaining the osmoregulation. Here the removing of nitrogenous waste materials and ionic balance. But here also removing of waste materials and also conserve more amount of water and salts effectively. This malfeasance tubules mainly seen in the terrestrial arthropods and also can be seen in the insects. And specialized glands, antennary or green glands, can be seen in arthropods. In arthropods they having a class that is called as the crustaceans. The crustaceans, the best example is the prawns, and also the best example is the cancer crab. And the coxal glands, coxal glands can be seen in the class arachnids. The best example is the scorpion and spider. Now we can go for the structure of kidney. Basically the kidney is reddish brown in color and it is the bean shaped. Where this kidney is located, suppose this one is the vertebral column. On either side of the vertebral column the kidney is located. Lateral abdominal side, this is the vertebral column. The vertebral column they having a vertebrae, they having like this vertebrae. For us they having 5 types of vertebrae: cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, coxal. Totally 26 vertebrae is there among this. The kidney is located, basically thoracic, how many vertebrae? 12 vertebrae is there. That's why last thoracic vertebrae to lumbar, how many vertebrae? 5 vertebrae. Last thoracic vertebrae to third lumbar region. In this region the kidney is located. The kidney is a retroperitoneal organ. What is retroperitoneal organs means? Now this is dorsal side and this one is the ventral side. Here in this ventral side it is covered by a renal capsule, a covering layer. It means covering only one side. That type of organ is called as a retroperitoneal organ. That's why what is retroperitoneal organs? The kidney or organ, it is covered by only one side, that is mainly by the ventral side, not covered by the dorsal side. That type of organ is called as a retroperitoneal organ. Now if we go for the internal structure of the kidney outer part is called, this is outer part is called as a cortex and inner part is called as a medulla. Here see, in medulla they having a conical shaped structures. This conical shaped structure is called as a renal pyramid. When in this dorsal side the kidney they having a notch. This notch is called as a hilum. Here we can write column of Bertini. What is column of Bertini means? This is the cortex part. This cortex part protruded between renal pyramids. The cortex part protruded between renal pyramid. Now this part is called as a column of Bertini. This renal pyramid, this apex part is called as a renal papillae. This is called as what? Renal papillae. And see, they having a finger like projections in the pyramid regions. This part is called as a renal calyces. This renal calyces is continued with a cone shaped one. This is called as a renal pelvis. This is called as a renal pelvis. This renal pelvis is connected with a tube that is called as a ureter. This ureter is open into urinary bladder, temporary storage of urine. This urinary bladder is connected with the urethra. Through urethra, the urine is comes out. How the urine formation, how it is comes out, we will discuss in the next class. Now, for each kidney, the structural and functional units they having called as a nephrons. They having 1 million of nephrons. Nephrons is two types. One is the cortical nephrons, another one is the juxtamedullary nephron. Mostly compared to the juxtamedullary nephron, 70 to 80% is occupied by the cortical nephron and 20 to 30% is occupied by the juxtamedullary nephron. What is the differentiation? How the urine formation? What is the remaining things? We will discuss in the next class.